To keep a record of information, we use pens and pencils to write things down on paper. But what if the information we're recording is extremely important, so it can't be lost?
Or something sensitive, like a password, that shouldn't be seen by others. Paper is simply too risky. To solve that problem, I created something more structured than paper and designed for secure data storage using the principles behind NAND flash memory.
Hello, I'm Inventor King Bobtail. Believe it or not, I'm back once again. This time, Samsung's Semiconductor newsroom has handed me my second mission.
Show us the NAND flash principle simply. Oh, NAND flash, I know stuff well. In memory semiconductors, two most common types are DRAM and NAND flash. DRAM is volatile memory designed for high-speed processing. You probably remember the DRAM table I built last time. If it isn't refreshed properly, the stored data disappears. NAND flash is different in that it is non-volatile memory, so data is retained even when the power is turned off, making it suitable for storing things like photos and files. Here are some devices you're probably familiar with, all lined up here. There's a micro SD cards, internal SSDs, and external SSDs. Inside them are tiny spaces that trap electrons. Data is stored by trapping electrons inside these spaces, recognizing them as zeros and ones based on the presence or absence of electrons. Using this exact principle, we're going to recreate how NAND flash stores data with a NAND flash tablet you can actually see. Well, not an actual stone tablet, but let's build it and try storing some data ourselves. As I explained earlier, NAND flash stores electrons inside tiny cells and uses the state of those electrons to distinguish between zeros and ones. The problem is that electrons are far too small for us to see, so I'll use steel balls to represent them. Let's design a space where electrons can be stored. Now let's assemble it. We get a single NAND flash cell. The key here is charge trap flash technology. A charge trap is a tiny trap-like storage layer that holds electrons. Instead of floating freely, electrons are caught in the specific storage layer, and data is stored by checking if they're present. Rather than letting the steel balls roll around freely, pushing the switch will guide the ball into a specific spot and lock firmly into place. That way, it acts just like an electron getting captured inside a NAND flash charge trap layer. Of course, in this model, I can simply push the switch by hand, so the steel ball moves fairly easily. But keep in mind, inside an actual NAND flash chip, electrons do not move around that easily. Next, let's arrange these cells in an 8x8 grid. So I'll 3D print it exactly as designed.
And here's what the finished result looks like.
Looking at this result, since one slot can store a 0 or a 1, this tablet alone can store 64 zeros and ones. That's 64 bits. So now, instead of making just one tablet, let's go ahead and make 10 identical tablets.
Wow! 10 NAND flash tablets have now been perfectly completed. Not one, but 10 of them. So why 10? Because a single NAND flash tablet can store 64 bits of information. So 64 bits can represent a huge number of digits when it comes to numbers. But for text, it's only about 8 English letters. 8 letters. That's not even enough for a single text message. So to store a reasonable amount of information, I figured I'd need at least 10 tablets.
All right then.
Let's see. How many characters can we use? It's a recording device capable of storing approximately 80 characters of text. Real NAND flash comes in various types. In real flash memory, there are several different ways to pack data into a single cell. But my tablet doesn't copy all of those advanced technologies. Instead, each slot or cell only stores a 0 or a 1, just like the most basic SLC model. Think of it as a visual demonstration of how SLC works. Modern technology divides a single space into multiple levels, creating huge storage capacity today. Now it's time to see whether our NAND flash tablet can successfully store data. How about storing a number? Let me see. What number should we use? Okay, 173. Let's store the number 173. Unlike the numbers and letters we see every day, whether it's a photo, a video, or a password, computers don't store those numbers directly. Everything has to be converted into zeros and ones. So first, we convert 173 into binary. There's an easy way. I built my own calculator. Let's convert the number 173 into binary. And we get it's 10101101. Now all we have to do is input these numbers into the tablet, one by one. Time for some finger-powered voltage. First digit is 1, so I flip the switch. And look, the charge is trapped in the storage layer. The second is a 0, so we leave it. And the third is a 1, so we trap it again.
1 0 1 0 1 1 0 1.
Looks like it's stored perfectly. The number 173 is now stored. We've engraved digital information onto an analog tablet. But in real NAND flash, instead of this finger, this zap-zap finger voltage, they use actual electrical voltage. A high voltage moves electrons into the storage layer. And once those electrons become trapped, the data is stored. One of NAND flash's most important features is non-volatility. So let's test whether it really is non-volatile. Let's review 10101101. It's the same. NAND flash determines whether a cell contains a 0 or a 1 by measuring current flow and detecting changes in its electrical state. Put simply, this tablet is read with your eyes, while NAND flash is read using electrical signals. But both are doing the same thing. They're checking the stored state to determine whether it's a 0 or a 1. But a storage device isn't just about putting data in. You also need to be able to read it back, like we just did, and erase it when it's no longer needed. Real NAND flash works just like its name. Like a camera flash going bang! It instantly erases all the data at once. So if I want to erase the data on this tablet, I take the board holding all the switches like this. If I give it a strong push, all the switches that were up will come down, allowing me to initialize all this data at once. But wait a second, we've got a serious problem. I really need to use the bathroom. The bathroom password? It's in the room next door. I can't get into the room. One lock has my phone hanging on it, and another is attached to the door itself. So I can't open it. No, that's not the issue. And I found these codes that look like passwords. I think they're the lock combinations. But there's no way I can memorize all these binary codes. To solve that problem, I happen to have a NAND flash tablet that can store binary data. That means I can store all the passwords listed here on it and try to decode them. First up, the binary passcode for 00000001. Last one, 2, 3, 4. And now all this data has been successfully stored on these 10 NAND flash tablets. But this takes up way too much space. Can I really carry all of this around? Probably not. So instead of spreading the tablets out, if I stack them up, I can move around much more efficiently. Like this. By stacking all 10 tablets, you can fit the same data into the area of a single tablet. Wow! This stacking structure is the key advantage of V-NAND. I designed this V-NAND stacked structure myself. Okay, gotta use the restroom. Since the very top layer holds the phone passcode, let's start by decoding that one first. Let's switch on the binary to decimal converter. 00000001. Okay, 94819. Done! Alright, finally, I can use my phone again. Judging by the 5 lines on the second one, this has to be text. Converting to text. Buyer. Why? There's no Y here. Happy? Happy! It's time for happiness now. Wait! Is there a password for this one too? Nope! I finally cracked all the locks and successfully used the bathroom. The tablet stack I built today was only 10 layers high. But in reality, modern NAND flash stacks hundreds of layers vertically. Also, storage capacity has now gone from gigabytes to terabytes. Take a look at this actual NAND flash chip right here. Compared to the analog tablet I built, it's incredibly tiny, right? Yet inside this chip, it can store over 100 billion times more information. This experiment really reminded me how remarkable modern semiconductor integration and advanced process technologies have become, allowing so much data to be stored on such a tiny chip. Let's wrap things up. At the end of the day, passwords, photos, and videos are all just zeros and ones. And those zeros and ones have to be stored somewhere. NAND flash stores them in the form of electrons. I used that same principle to build an analog storage tablet that safely holds data with a highly satisfying aesthetic. That's how we got this NAND flash tablet. You could carry all your passcodes around in plain sight and nobody would have a clue what they mean. Why not try making one yourself?